It didn't auto switch there, so I had to do it manually. I think it was supposed to auto switch. Oh well, that's all right. Hey everyone, this is Snark with Snark's Domain. We tested the LMTG100. I think it's going to be seems decent. We're going to see how it compares to liquid metal and other pastes. I'm just going to show you guys a clip really quick though. This is something I recorded while I was removing the excess conformal coating. It doesn't have any audio. Well, I'm not going to play the audio over the music, but my first technique to clean it was basically turning the UV light on so I could see. Everything's glowing blue. Sorry, it's a little bit blurry. It's really hard to get the lighting and the focus bang on with UV light. But I had previously used this technique where I used Q-tip soaked in, not soaked, but damp with isopropyl alcohol, and having to do quite a bit of scrubbing to get that conformal coating removed. And it does work. You can see the bottom, well, on the right hand side of the video, the bottom left VRAM chip. But then I tested out with this little plastic scraper or pry tool, using it basically like a windshield scraper for like ice or snow, and it works awesome. It saved me so much time. And I'm not applying tons of force, just enough to get that plastic edge riding down. Now I'm comfortable doing this with the VRAM. I'm not sure if I would do it with the core on the silicon. I'm sure it'd be fine. It is very hard, but I don't know, for some reason I'm more willing to apply pressure to the VRAM than I am the core. But yeah, it worked out great. I was able to basically scrape it all off, and then any little remnants I was able to wipe up with Q-tip and isopropyl. So in the end, I'll just see if I can get to the end. Yeah. So it's, I was probably playing around with lighting. It got all clean, so it worked out really well. Anyways, let's get back to the card at hand. So I'm just going to remove these screws. And we'll remove the LMTG100. I haven't had time to make a new comparative chart to process the data, but I can definitely use my previous one. It'll still show us all the information. At some point when I forget the time, I want to make it so I can basically do 6-hour tests with Firmark with the GPU core, and we can watch well, I want it to automatically chart the data. So I think I'll be able to do that. It's just going to take a little bit of playing around with Excel. I've already done it on a limited basis. I tested some Honeywell PTM 7950 that I bought off AliExpress. Got a big sheet and I wanted to give it to someone, which I did that, but I wanted to test it before they used it. So I ran it through a test, and yeah, it definitely worked pretty good. Let's flip this around. I was smart, and this time I decided to put the gloves on first. So this is Upsiren LMTG100. Yeah, the more automation, the easier it is to get the content out. So just gonna flip around this little piece of, oh, interesting. That must have wrapped around there. Hey, Daniel M. Good to see you, buddy. Interesting. It's a cool, that's a cool contact patch. Does it almost look like incomplete coverage? I don't know. I wonder if I didn't use enough. That's certainly possible. Although I can see a little bit of excess there and there. This side doesn't really have much coming out. And that corner is missing a little bit, but maybe we'll have to do, well, we'll see. We'll see what the performance of the Conductonaut is, but I wouldn't feel bad doing the test once, and then when I come back next week, I could run the test again on these, especially if they're close. If it's if the performance is really far, then or really a big gap, it wouldn't matter as much necessarily. All right. Let's get this stuff, well, maybe I'll get a close-up here. See what you guys think. I've never used this stuff before. And I've also never used liquid metal, so I'm not an expert. See if I can play with the lighting a little bit. Daniel M, yeah. I was kind of hoping it was going to touch into stuff other than pads, but it seems like that's what they were focusing on. So yeah, this is the that's what the core looks like. It's kind of hard to see. It looks like a good patch to me, except for the two corners there. And then let's look at the cooler. Maybe that'll be more telling for you guys. It just feels like I didn't have maybe enough, which is surprising. That didn't show. Oh, well, there's some putty in the card where we're looking at right here. Yeah. Okay, I'll have to get in there with a toothpick and clean that out before I assemble it, which means I'll have to grab one in a second here. Yeah, I might have to test this again at some point just to apply it. Maybe I will. When I apply this stuff again, I'm going to still apply it to the one surface, and I'll put that little dot in the middle like I usually do, and that should be suffice to give it enough coverage. Oh, interesting. Well, it's really, like, I don't know. I was expecting it to be hard to clean up here. It was difficult to clean off of the silicone mat earlier, where I had to just scrub it a couple times. But I think I was expecting it to do the same thing with the nickel plating. Maybe it wasn't on there long enough. Yeah, the Fuji Poly video, it was all right. I learned some things for sure. They could work on their audio quality a little bit. Okay, now I don't want to use too much scrubbing on the exterior of the die because I want the conformal coating to stay intact. So I basically wrung out a little bit of the isopropyl from the Q-tip. So it's not drenched. And just with a dry Q-tip, I'm going to go around the edge initially, see if I can... You guys see that little shiny... it's probably too bright, but I can see little metallic liquid balls in there. There's a name for a band. Daniel M says, Igor Labs tested different application methods recently. He found the log to be the best. Also, he put screws and pressure on the first side, so not the cross pattern, and screw down the cooler. Also, he put screws and pressure on one side first. Now, has he got an X bracket, I'm assuming? With an X bracket, I usually start 2 screws, and then I'll press down the other side, and then start the other 2 screws, and then I still go to pattern. But are you saying he did a log application with thermal putty? Because that's cool. Wonder if he got, if word got to him, and I wonder if he's watched any of my videos. That's super interesting to think of. I generally assume that larger YouTubers have not looked at my stuff yet, but I could be wrong. Maybe there's a few out there. Oh, that's cool. Well, to Mr. Igor Labs, if you're watching this, hello, good sir. Keep up the good work, man. I like your testing, what you're doing. No, I don't think he's watching it now. Maybe he'll watch this someday. Who knows? Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how clean the core is now. All right. Paste on GPU core. Are you asking what paste was on there? Or I don't know if you're... Oh, for his tightening technique? Sure. We just removed Upsiren LMTG100 there. Okay, I don't want to scrub too much. I'm going to, hopefully this doesn't look horrible. I'm going to turn the UV light on. So if you guys are epileptic, maybe look away from the screen for about 10 seconds because it's gonna flash. Okay. Perfect. I'm getting a good look at it here, and I can see we still have full coverage of conformal where we need it, which will protect us from shorting anything out. If we didn't, I would have had to realistically applied some and then at least waited, I don't know, 20-30 minutes. Really, you're supposed to wait 24 hours. You can also cure it with heat, I suppose. I'm a little hesitant of using that technique because I prefer not to apply heat if I don't have to. But yeah, let me just see where I've got Conductonaut. I'm going to quickly grab a toothpick. I want to clean out that putty that we saw there. I will be back momentarily here. All right, we are back. Daniel Imp says, instead of dots or spreading, he said that manufacturers do leave gaps when doing the spread. Oh, I see. The log method where he puts like a strip, especially for AMD, there's like a spot where you can do that little like bean strip or whatever line. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, before we apply, let's just want to clean that putty. Let's see, how am I going to do this? I'll go close up. You guys can see in there. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, let's go get a close-up here at the core. Yeah. So I guess I'm also supposed to apply some to the cooler, and I was not smart enough to mark that out, but I can kind of see approximately where I need to apply it, so I'm just going to wing it, and I'll probably make the patch larger than I need to, and we'll make sure we have full coverage, because one thing I learned about liquid metal is it's got that surface tension that prevents it from wanting to grab onto shiny surfaces. So we're going to do our best to get the application right. Okay, so we got some black Q-tips, and you know what? It does have a cleaning pad, so we're going to use it because it's provided. Just make sure. Scrub it fairly well. It's quite wet, actually. Surprisingly wet. I mean, it was probably already clean enough, but you might as well give it our best go here. You know, I think that little pad they included, this cleaning thing, has a higher percentage of water. So I saw some watermarks there. Yeah, I think I'm just going to stick to using 99% isopropyl instead, like I usually do. Stick with what works, right? Yeah, let me just get the little... there's one of these nozzles that's stuck in the box, I think. There you go. You know, I probably should have read this documentation, but I watched a bunch of little YouTube video guides on how to apply this stuff. So I'm feeling somewhat confident in my ability to not do a horrible job. And you know what? If we do a bad job, we can try again another time. I'm just going to gradually apply force here. I don't want to squirt out too much. Man, it's hard for me to tell if... Yeah, okay, I can feel back pressure now. A little bit. Just going through little nozzle. I think that's supposed to be enough. We're gonna find out. You know what? I'm just gonna take my gloves off because I'm finding these ones are too thick. Can we read the manual? Little blob. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? I've never done this before, so application. Where is the English? English. Conductonaut, liquid metal, PWB, coolers made of aluminum. Check. We've got nickel plated copper. Permanent damage. Direct heat pipe touch me. Clean the contact surface. Apply Conductonaut thermal grease screw. Be applied. Little thing that we did there. Spread Conductonaut on both surfaces with the supplied cotton swabs to increase performance. Increased contact pressure of the cotton swab can facilitate the making it stick. Excessive material can be removed with the absorber, which is that other nozzle, I believe. Okay, we read it. You got this. Thanks, Daniel. I'm just going to get it to adhere a little bit to the cotton swab, and then we're going to we are liquid metalling, folks. Does it look like I'm a professional? I do this every day. This is my first time. Yeah, I can definitely tell it doesn't take much of this stuff to get full coverage. I mean, it looks super cool, of course. So it looks super cool. It's metal, shiny and chrome. So I'm thinking, did I apply another dot or just try and, you know, I don't mind having a little bit extra. Witness me. Yeah. You guys knew what I was going for there. I'm just going to, this is probably overkill, but just want to get a little bit on here. Yeah, it was too much, but that's okay. Not too worried about shorting anything out, so I don't mind having a little bit excess. It can press out and just sort of chill with the conformal. Codestring says, welcome to the stream, man. As long as you have a decent sheen, it should be good. Going overkill is wanting an ASIS to happen. Yeah. Who was I watching recently where there was like a ton of liquid metal and they had some like foam or something around the GPU die, or was it a laptop? I can't remember. And they had a leak. I feel like it was a laptop. Yeah, I think yeah, I can see that there is a little bit of excess liquid material, but that's just gonna go nicely with the mating surfaces. What do you guys think of this application? Being my first time, is it gonna be okay? I think it's gonna be, yeah, PS5s have it as well. Wonder if they were smart enough to design this for me to be able to remove this. No, they were, well, yeah, if I very carefully draw it back in. Yeah, we definitely have some wastage with this liquid metal, but that's bound to happen with my first time. I've got more of this stuff, so. All right. So we reshaped this TGPP10 a little bit, shaped that, rolled that. We got to do this one up here. Yeah, I feel like I have, at the very least, an adequate amount. Almost borderline too much, but again, I'm really confident with the protection of the GPU with that conformal. So just gonna get my little finger gloves on. I used to hate these things, but right now the gloves that I have are too stiff, so I actually prefer these to using those mechanics gloves. Called the brand of the gloves is called Grease Monkey. Might as well. Yeah, these ones. Extra large. All right. Yeah, let's get this card back together. For those of you just joining, we're going to turn the UV light on one more time just so you guys can see the conformal coating in action. Oh yeah, that hazy blue glow you see is some fancy nail polish. How are the Upsiren pads doing? Asks Daniel M. Tell you what, guys. Let's get this card together, and then I'll open up the Excel sheet, and we can just sort of, you guys can get a sneak peek of the results or the data. And if that's boring, you can just, I'll try and work on the chart a little bit tonight, and then maybe post it. It's going to be a different chart, obviously, than the VRAM thermal interface material one. I'll have to make a new one. But these pads are good. I'll say that much right off the hop. And this is always the hard part. Everything's still there. I do need to work on getting like a flashlight of some sort. There we go. The 45 worked okay. So we'll get these alignment screws in. Make sure we got the threads. Let's do these ones first. There we go. It wasn't quite aligned. Should be now. So I almost changed the overclocks for the core stuff, thinking like, oh, you know, I'll make a core specific overclock and I won't touch the RAM, but I decided not to in the end. I just left it with the same plus 1100 to the VRAM and 100% TDP and 85% fan speed. So it's the exact same overclock that we use for Furmark and Kapow in the VRAM pad putty tests. That way it'll be it should be familiar temperatures for you guys. And even though we don't have like tons to compare with, we can at least approximately compare it with MX4. So we kind of already have our baseline. I'll still do another one because I haven't done one with these pads, but yeah, those are all feeling equal. I'm just going to apply some light pressure just because I had to reform some of that TGPP10. Pretty good. Star pattern. is honestly the best screwdriver that someone could use while working on GPUs. Like everything about it, from its magnet strength of holding the screw to its size to this little swivel at the back. It's just awesome. iFixit. No, they're not a sponsor. In fact, I don't have any sponsors, but just a great product, so I don't mind giving them a shout out. Okay guys, so I'm gonna get this card set aside here, and I'll probably try shining a flashlight in, excuse me, in, and well, no, I'm not gonna be able to see anything, not with that contact frame. We're just gonna have to trust the process. Let's move a couple things around here, and then we'll look at the data for the LMTG100 and go from there. Okay, probably don't need close-up anymore. Just gonna open up and I have this like annoying dry cough still. Sucks. All right. Tell you what, I'll show you guys a quick snapshot first, which is first of all a screenshot. That way you guys can see. It's what I do at the very end of each test on everything. So I'll get the display capture going here. Make sure everything's looking good. Yeah. Okay. So this is a snapshot I took, or a screenshot, at the, you guys can see the 6-hour mark there. And that's how long, well, just over 6 minutes or 6 hours. That's how long I ran Furmark. I did a 1080p. It was a GPU stress test with 8 times anti-aliasing. Overclock here, we've got 100% power limit. Fans at 85%. Plus 1100 to the memory. And the core, I could have applied some, but I just didn't. This is the same overclock I use for, like I said, the Kapow tests, and also the other Furmark tests with the VRAM thermal interface material, putties and pads and stuff. Excuse me. So, you know, at the time of the snapshot, there was current, min, max, and averages. And these two temperatures, this one here, temperature 1, is in front of the fan closest to the I/O, and then this one is the middle fan. I don't have a third one on the GPU. Now let's go to the Furmark sheet, and I'll show you guys how I'm going to just really get a quick snapshot of the data. I'll have to make the charting thing at some point, because I think that'll be useful. So yeah, we've got CPU, RPM, chipset, sometimes a PCH data enters up in there, and then it messes up the sheet. So now I'm going to open up another, let's see, test 2.0, standard calculator tab. Here we go. Yeah. All right. This is like a slightly updated one where I've added the third sensor that's in front of the CPU cooler itself. So we'll go to Furmark here. So I'm just gonna make sure I can read what you guys are typing if you do type anything. So we're gonna call this data, and we are gonna color these. And I'm going to All right, so now we need to make it point towards this sheet instead of that source where it just came from. It's kind of annoying how Excel, I don't know, sometimes Excel does some interesting stuff. Place all. So yeah, it didn't work. Okay, because there's another... Oh man, this is annoying. But you know what? This happens sometimes. So if I'm correct, it's in the... right up here, drive available. So that's not supposed to be there. Let's go over to J... is it JT, I think? Something like that. JKL. Yeah, so drive rem, drive fail, drive warning. Drive rem, drive fail, drive warning. So this one, JS, is not supposed to be there. So we're going to delete that. And I'm saying it's not supposed to be there because it's not consistently there. And it makes it so my calculator can't grab the data. Of course, when you do that, it still has its reference. So I have to delete this. And then add it back in. We will fix the reference again. Actually, it should be in the clipboard. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so this worked this time. Okay, we don't have data to compare this to, except that we sort of do. Let's look at the Furmark sheet that we have. I'm just going to open up the chart here. Okay, so yeah, let's look at the, on this column here, make sure you guys are seeing the mouse there, the core T delta. All of these are with MX4, so the performance does change a little bit depending on the putty I was using. And we can't really directly compare these because we've changed two things now. But let's see what we... let's bring up that Excel. And maybe I can make this small enough. Okay, so see, we've got a T delta here on the core. Yeah, 37.8. And see, is that lower than the rest? Okay, so it, and like an actual temperature 62 with ambient, looks like we were at that basically 25 there. So this stuff is certainly the LMTG100. Seems like it's better than MX4, which I was kind of expecting it to be. Let's see, watts, 284. 284. And we're usually around 286. That one's 281. 39. 286, 285, 287. So maybe we're burning... Yeah, what I should do is make a new calculator sheet just for GPU stuff. Sorry, for the GPU core. And maybe I'll include like core frequency and voltage or something like that. I'll have to figure out. I need to make something that's more tailored to core tests. But as far as the Upsiren pads, which we're going to use for all these tests, if we look at the memory junction T delta, 48.8. So yeah, these pads are claimed to be rated at 21 watts per meter Kelvin. I don't really trust watt per meter Kelvin ratings, but this theoretically should put this right up here. Yeah, between EVGA and T-Putty 607. So that's they're pretty good pads, and they also sell a 23 watt one. But when it showed up, it had a sticker on it that said 15 watts. So I think like someone like put a wrong sticker. I don't know. Well, to see, I'll have to contact them and figure out if they sent me the right ones or not for that stuff. But yeah, we've also got some 16 watt and 18 watt that I bought that we can test out as well later on. But I promise I'm going to make a chart here that, well, I'll just use the same format for now, I suppose, but I'll be highlighting the core T delta rather than the VRAM T delta. So yeah, I think, unless you guys have any questions to ask, I think that's all I had planned for the stream. And I'll be testing the liquid metal overnight here. And we'll see how it does. So yeah, thanks for coming and checking out the stream today. And I will catch you guys on the next one.